collecting yarn and knitting are two separate hobbies. Hi, everyone. My name is Tiffany, and welcome to my knitting podcast. Yay! I have wanted to start a knitting podcast for a really long time, and finally decided that it was time, right? Because literally, what's stopping me? I have a phone, right? I can record it. I am a recent transplant to the suburbs of Pennsylvania. And since being here, I don't have a dating community anymore. So I decided that maybe this could be my space where I could create one. Um, Obviously, I'm still in touch with my friends from where I used to live in the greater Atlanta area. But it just kind of felt alone. And so I figured I could maybe carve out a little space on the internet to share with you all some of the things I've been working on, things that have been going on, and you know what's what's keeping me going, right? And it would be my yarn and my knitting, and it's what makes me happy, and I'm not sorry about that. Part of it is also um, I've had a lot of change in my life in the last 2 years. Like a lot of change. Got married, had a baby, and moved across the country. And also started a new job. So in the process of all of that, I feel like I lost myself, right? And not necessarily in a bad way. It's just that when adapting to so much change all at one time, it's kind of hard to keep a pulse on where you are and like what's going on and how you're feeling. And I started my job, which I started right after I had my daughter. I work from home now. And that is new for me because even with the pandemic previously, I was still going into work just because my job was rather isolated and from other people specifically. It was kind of isolated from other people. So I still went in to have some sort of like communion with coworkers. Um, and when I started my new job, which is completely remote, it was an adjustment for me. And not that it was bad. And currently, I love it. And you could not pry remote work out of my cold dead fingers at this point. Just saying. But it's been an adjustment for me socially, right? Because I am in a new space, a new city where I don't know many people. I don't have the ability to develop friends through work um, because my friends are at work are all over the country. Like my two closest friends, one is in Atlanta and one is in Orlando. So, can't hang out with them in the evenings or on the weekends or anything like that. So, building a new community in a new city is a little bit harder for me. And then also, I'm a military wife, right? Which is how I ended up here in Pennsylvania. Well, we found out more than likely next year we're going to be moving. So then it's hard, to get invested in a new city when you know you're going to be leaving it in the next 6 to 9 months. So I figure you guys can be my friends. Yes, please. It'd be great. We can be friends. Um, so yeah, so that's where we are. And then kind of touched on it earlier was like in regards to like kind of just feeling like I lost myself, right? I've always been someone who's enjoyed clothes and enjoyed fashion and getting dressed and having fun, but having fun with my wardrobe specifically, right? But like working from home, I put on a work appropriate top, it's stretchy pants, and I wear slippers all day long, right? So it's like I don't have to get dressed for work anymore, right? Like I don't spend that much time on camera. Like the time I'm on camera is kind of like regimented, right? So I know in advance the days where I have to make sure I look particularly presentable. But other than that, for the most part, like I'm on the computer, but I don't have to be visible, right? So I affectionately call what I look like during the day, during the week, basement troll, right? Like, I mean, and obviously I don't actually look like a troll, but like I don't have to put in much effort on a daily basis, right? So on the weekends, right, when I'm getting to the point where I'm going a little bit stir crazy and my husband finds it completely amusing because he has to actually leave the house for work and he would voluntarily stay in the house permanently, right? It's like on the weekend, I'm losing it. I have to get up, get dressed, and get out of this house and go somewhere and run some errands. And, I tell them, it's like, I feel like a person, right? And as a part of that, like, I want to get back into re exploring clothes and getting dressed and having fun and getting back to who I am. And part of who I was from before all the significant life changes, right? But also stepping into this new era of mine, because to a certain extent, with a toddler, right? Like, I don't have time to be completely fussy, right? Like, I have support, my husband's there, I have childcare, that kind of thing. So it's like I can do some of it, but like, I got to be able to go, and I still want to look nice when I go, right? Like, I want to be able to figure out that space where it's like to redefine my look, right? Like, as I've gotten older, my style has evolved, right? As most of us do in time, we rediscover who we are at different places and what's important to us, right? Like, I'm a person who wears sneakers now, and that's new. And if you've known me for a long time, like, you're probably like, what? Like, sneakers? Who are you? I'm not sure. I'm not sure who this person is who wears sneakers now, but like, I intentionally like look at them and I enjoy them, and I'm like, those would be cute with this, and like, I should wear that outfit. And it's like, that's new for me because I was always like the flats queen, right? Like, they take just as much effort, if not less effort, actually, to put on flats as it does to put on sneakers. But like, I guess my style has evolved to include like sporty mom on the go, maybe. I don't know. I'm still figuring out, right? But like, as a part of it, it's like I want to define that. Like, I want to figure out where I fit in, like where makes sense for me, right? Which is kind of why I named the channel like ChicKnit Chronicles, right? Because like, I still want to look put together, right, while also wearing my knits. And this is me chronicling the process, right? So I do know that I like classic styling, right? Like, but I also like a little bit of edge, right? And like, I like color. I really enjoy it, but I can also appreciate neutrals, right? So it's like, we're going to like figure out what that means and like how I can incorporate knitting into that, right? So hopefully you all will join me on this journey and we can have some fun and hang out. I don't quite know what a consistent upload schedule would be. I'd like to do a couple times a month, but we'll see. I've never actually edited a video before, but baby steps. Okay. So come along. It'll be fun or something, hopefully. Okay. So, I guess in true knitting podcast fashion, the first thing I will share with you is what I'm wearing. Yay. So this would be the Cozy Classic Raglan. It is knit in fingering weight from Old Rusted Chair in her squish base, I believe, and the colorway is called Lodgepole. And can we talk about how this is the most perfect shade of green, deep, rich, tonal green perfection that does not read Christmas, right? Because like, it's a balance, because it's like you go a little too far. We've got pine trees and pine cones, and it feels like a Christmas tree, right? But like, this green goes from fall to spring. I mean, it's a little long sleeve for summer, but like, you're feeling me, right? Like, this green, perfection. Um, when it comes to modifications that I made when I was knitting it, I cast on, because if you look at the Ravelry notes and a lot of the pictures that people have done with this particular sweater, the neckline can be kind of wide. And I'm going through like a closer crew neck, mock neck kind of phase, where I want things hitting a little bit higher. So for this one, I cast on for the smallest size to do the ribbing. This Cozy Classic Light. Did I say that? Anyway, okay, so Cozy Classic Light. I cast on for the smallest size, and then I increased directly after the ribbing for the size 42. Yeah, I think. Yeah, 42. Um, and then knit per pattern. And then I did the tapered waist, well, I did the tapered style. I didn't do the I guess the larger body option. I tapered. I tend to do because I am a busty gal. I tend to do short row shaping or what do they call them? Cup sizes. Um, Short rows for the bust. And I don't know what cup size I tend to do. I found that it's pretty standard for me in almost all sweaters that I make that are not color work or striped or something across the bust line, that I will do 5 short rows about an inch after the sleeve divide, a couple of stitches in from the side seams, and I will do 5 short rows. And with about 1 stitch in between. And that is pretty much standard in almost every pattern you'll ever see from me on Ravelry, anywhere else. Like, I've done that unless it was impossible to do, again, because of color work or striping or something like that. It's always there. And then after that, typically about 3 or 4 inches from the sleeve divide, I will do 2 decreases about an inch apart. And that's just to fit with my personal proportions because my proportions are extreme, right? Like, my proportions are weird. But anyway, so like, this is my sweater. I'll stand up so you can see. I love it. Um, so yeah, so that's what I'm wearing. So next goes FOs, right? Finish objects. So some friends and I are going to the upcoming Fiber Festival. What do they call it? I'm totally blanking on the name. I will put it on the screen. But there's a Fiber Festival in New Orleans, and it's really just kind of like a one-day affair. And we all decided that we were going to knit the poppy tee. And I finished mine. And the Fire Festival is going to be, you know what, don't even get me lying. I'm going to put it on the screen so that I'm not telling you the wrong thing, right? This is my poppy tee. And that's my daughter. It is knit in lamb strings in her single ply. And why didn't I write this down? What is the name of this colorway? I don't remember. I'm terrible at this already. I'll take better notes next time. But this is lamb strings, and I absolutely love it. I haven't blocked it yet. If I have managed to block it and have before and after photos, because it's happening upstairs. I'll try and put before and after photos. If not, maybe you'll just see it in the next episode. But I am completely in love with this. Like, I wasn't sure how I felt about the poppy tee when I first saw it. Like, it's objectively, it's a cute shirt, right? Like, but like, I didn't quite get it, and then I made it, and now I get it. Like, this is a really cute shirt. Like, I objectively need like more of these. Like, it's really classic shaping and styling, right? But like, it's so simple, and I love that, right? And then if we look at these tonal variations, okay, and you're going to notice a theme later, I'm clearly going through like an olivey season, which is fine. I'm not mad about it, but like, it's a thing. I'm drawn to olive right now. And like, I have had this yarn in stash for a couple of years now, and I have been waiting for the right pattern, because it's like, I don't know about you, but for me, like, collecting yarn and knitting are two separate hobbies, right? And I bought this purely based off the fact that it was gorgeous, right? Like, can you see that? Like, can you see? Like, it is absolutely beautiful. It's green, it's gold, it's brown. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. And I need everything in this same exact color. Um, so I can't wait to wear it. We're all gonna have poppy tees, and we're gonna take a picture, and we're gonna be super cute in our poppy tees in various colors. And I think we all kind of accidentally, on purpose, picked Mardi Gras-ish themed colors because Mardi Gras is all about the purple, green, and gold. Um, and so we're all kind of in that theme. Like it's not quite the right shade of green. This is a better shade of green for Mardi Gras, but I care not. This sweater or shirt is perfect. I did forget to do the detail, like that pearl ridge detail there at the bottom. I forgot to do it on the collar because I knit the collar twice. Oh my God, I knit the collar twice. Okay, so the first time I knit the collar, I have never actually knit a folded over collar. And to be honest, I don't understand the hype. It looks hot. Like, do your necks not get hot? Like, do you want a hot neck? Like, I don't understand. And then with a t shirt, why do I want a warm neck? It's a short sleeve t shirt. I don't understand. Right. But anyway, so the first time I knit the collar, I tried to do it per pattern. Right. Like, I remembered to do that pearl ridge detail. I, followed all the directions. I folded it over. I sewed it down way too tight. I sewed it down too tight. And it was a bit of a struggle to get it on, which is why I had to redo the collar. But it was hot. Why do I want a warm? Why do we want warm necks? Can y'all tell me? Am I missing something? Is it like a thing that just like I don't get because I haven't experienced it properly? I do want to try it with a legitimately warm sweater, like to try a folded neck and hopefully don't sew it down too tight. But yeah, so I didn't. When I redid it, I decided to do a Italian bind off, which gave the same look as the folded over for the folded neck. But I don't understand. Why do I want a folded neck on a t-shirt? Like, please somebody tell me. Am I missing something? I'd like to know. Seriously, I'd like to know. But yes, so this, my poppy tee. I love it. Maybe I'll be wearing it in the next episode. We'll see. Okay, so my next finished object is the Bauxite. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, Bauxite. And this is a great top-down circular yoke pattern. It is knit in Knitting for Olive, Plum Rose, and what is wrong with me? I knew all of these things before I started, and now I can't remember anything. And Surrey, the Knitting for Olive, Primrose. It is held with Primrose Surrey. I'm forgetting the name of the base, and I will put on the name of the color on top. But the Surrey, like, so the Knitting for Olive is like, it's mauve, right? I previously was going through a mauve phase. I like mauve. And then the Surrey is kind of, it's like a beigey silver brown. And I know that color doesn't make any sense. Do I have more? I do have more. I just don't know where it is. If I can find it, I'll put in a picture of it. Anyway, I'm sorry. But yeah, like the base, it's really pretty. It's really soft. I have never knit with Surrey before. I see why people like it. And then also I see the difference in regards to the mohair, right? I am not someone who is sensitive to mohair. I actually quite like mohair. I have no problems with it. Surrey serves the same purpose, though I do find it to be a little bit thicker, which is not a problem at all. I quite like it. It's softer. It feels more casual than mohair. Does that make sense? Um, Mohair can elevate something. It can make it seem more formal, a little bit fancier because it has like that sheen to it, especially depending on the mohair that you use. Whereas Surrey is decidedly muted or matte in its finish. So it feels like casual sweater. Like, this is a sweater to be worn with jeans, right? This is casual Friday. Like, can I absolutely wear it with slacks and it would be fine? Sure. But it doesn't feel like a dressing up material or fabric. The drape between the two, lovely. Loved it. Absolutely no complaints about it. Um, Actually, the only thing that I really hesitate with when it comes to this sweater is nothing about the materials used or even the pattern, because the pattern is lovely. It's the color, the combination. And what I realize is I am someone who prefers warm. And this particular shade in the Surrey feels cool. And that's like this weird, subtle thing I'm dealing with internally. Trying to wear colors that are my colors. Like, I know jewel tones, baby. Jewel tones are for me. Jewel tones look great on my complexion, right? Like, I know that. But when it comes to less saturated colors, I have to be picky, and finding the right shades of mauve, mauve, however you want to say it, um, is important and can be difficult at times. But also, the Surrey just kind of made it cool. And I don't know. I don't know. But I like the sweater. The sweater is it's a little bit dolmany in the sense, and it appears intentional because most of the pictures, if you look at the pattern website, are it's a little bit extra material here, like it intentionally kind of cuts across the bust line, which is fine. It's not a problem for me at all. And again, being someone who's busty, I can always use a little extra fabric in that area, but that may not necessarily be for everyone. So I totally get that. And I also included my own bust darts. Bust darts, that's the word I was trying to say before. Bust darts. Um, in my bust darts, I did include that in this sweater. I knit it with uh, the needles recommended in pattern. Um, Fun fact about me: I don't gauge swatch ever. Um, Don't be like me. You should gauge swatch. I don't. Fortunately, it has not bit me yet. I have checked gauge on occasion. I don't even do it regularly. So like I live life on the edge. Okay. And mostly because again, it has not bitten me in the butt yet. I presume it will at some point. It just hasn't yet. Um, but generally, I do like this sweater. I am considering reknitting it because it knit up quick because it's on a larger needle size. Um, I'm considering making another one in a warmer color scheme just to see how I feel. Um, I would give this to my mom, but she's going through a phase where she doesn't like high necks, and I'm going through a phase where I love high necks, so we're incongruent in that respect. But yes, I quite like this sweater, but a little bit conflicted. Nothing about the pattern or the yarn, though. Just want to put that out there. It's a me thing, and it's the color that I chose, and how I'm feeling about it. Oh, and one more thing about my poppy tee. Um, because as you can see, this is a quite variegated yarn with a lot of colors going on. I did, what's it called? Helical. That's the word. Helical. A helical knit. The colors. But because of that, it made doing bust darts a little more difficult. So what I did do was after the sleeve divide, I literally just increased stitches on the side of the bust and knit a couple of rounds, and then I decreased them out. Just because I would have literally had just like a big boob stripe if I had knit actual bust darts in this particular top. So I chose to literally just put some increased stitches to accommodate the bust and then took them away. Okay, so those are my FOs. Oh gosh, the whips. There's so many whips. Be kind. since the moment this pattern has been released, I have been obsessed. Um, and again, going through a higher neck phase, like I'm all about the mock, not quite turtle, but like I want a crew, I want a mock, I want it higher on my neck. And is it because I live in a colder climate now? Is that what it is? I don't know. But since the moment the sweater was released, had to have it. And I really tried really hard. I tried so hard not to cast the sweater on. I did, but I failed. And I'm not mad because this sweater, look at the color. Do you see the color? I am using a local to me yarn called uh, Meadowcroft Dyeworks Yarn Rehab, and it is in the colorway 139 Africa, Mass d'Afrique, held with Rowan Kid Silk Haze in the color Bark. Okay, so this is the two of them together. Do you see that? Do you see that? And when I first wound these, I hand wound, when I first wound them, I almost hesitated because I was like, is this going to go? Is it going to be what I want? Because also I fell in love with my wound skein. Like it was beautiful. And I was like, well, I could just knit that, just knit a fingering weight sweater and it'll just be beautiful all by itself. But I forged ahead and I'm obsessed. Do you see this? Do you see that? It's gorgeous. Um, so typically, what I do when working on sweaters is I typically will knit the whole body first and come back to knit the sleeves. That does not always serve me well because I do get on sleeve island and I have many, what one of my friends calls vests. I have many, many vests because I will finish the body and be like, I don't want to knit sleeves, and it will go into hibernation, which is kind of what's happening in my whip pile, but we'll get there. So, but specifically with this sweater, what I realized is I used three balls of mohair for the neck and the body to get to this point, right? And then, but I had only bought 5 balls of mohair. So I was like, well, I should kind of figure out what's happening because literally this was 3, right? So then I went and I knit the first sleeve, which did not take a whole ball of mohair, fortunately. So I got the whole sleeve knit. So then I was like, okay, well, then I need to knit the second sleeve. So this is my 5th ball of mohair. And I know that I will finish the sleeve with this ball, but I will not finish with much left over. I do know that. I didn't weigh it. I should have weighed it. But I had not much left over when I finished the ball of mohair. So I started with that ball when I started the second sleeve, and I'm now in my 5th ball, right? So paranoia sunk in, and like this is my 3rd skein of my fingering weight. Now, I am someone who, generally speaking, I have realized from my size that when it comes to fingering weight yarn, generally speaking, 3 skeins of fingering weight can get me a long sleeve top, generally speaking, right? So I bought 3. Didn't think much of it, and it was like 3 balls. I matched it up with the mohair, give or take 10 yards or whatever. Three skeins of fingering, 5 skeins of mohair. I'll be fine. Well, this is a big collar. Don't usually knit this many collars. This many collars. This long of a collar, but also I am knitting a little bit more ease than I usually knit. So I was knitting on just faith and vibes for a while, but paranoia sunk in, and I was like, Tiffany, you need to figure out the mohair situation, specifically the mohair situation. Maybe we can figure out the body situation, because I have this much left for the body. So this was the skein I was working on for the body. And then I took my 3rd skein, wound it up, divided it in 2 for the sleeves, right? So it took more than this to finish the sleeve. I actually had to cut into my body. So the last, I don't know if you can see the color difference, but like the last 10-ish rows are the skein from the body, right? So I know that this is not enough to finish a sleeve, right? So then I'm gonna have to go back to that ball, right? So then I don't want a crop sweater. Like I want this to be a full sized, full winter sweater, right? So I went back to the yarn store and I bought an extra because, like, what if I run out? I can't, like, this sweater has to be right. All right. Like, I can't, like, a lot of times I will short the sleeves or I will knit it a little bit cropped to make whatever amount of yarn I have work. But for this sweater, like, I couldn't, I could not, I couldn't. So I bought an extra and then I got two extra mohairs. I probably will not need both mohairs, but I was like, I'm here. They have it. I will get it. And fortunately, this yarn shop does accept returns. So if I don't, because I will wait till the 11th hour to wind this skein and to break into my extra mohairs. So if I don't end up using them, I will take them back because I just will, because I'm trying to do better. I'm trying. It's a work in progress. Okay. It's a work in progress. But yes. So this, did I even tell you what the name of this sweater is? Oh my God. This is sweater number 9, light, by My Favorite Things Knitwear. Hopefully, I've already put up a picture of it. But yes, that's what the sweater is. Sweater number 9, light, from My Favorite Things Knitwear. I am knitting on recommended needle size, which is US 6. The ribbing is in 4, the body's in 6. I use small circumference needles for sleeves, so I went up to a 7. Um, and then I also went back down for the ribbing. Now, one thing I will note in the pattern, which I'm pretty sure is just a typo, but in the pattern, it says when you go down to the ribbing, you use the same needle size as you did for the sleeve. And I'm assuming that was a typo because you went down for the ribbing for everything else. Why wouldn't you for the sleeves? But anyway, so yeah, that's what's happening here. I'm obsessed. I love this sweater. And I'm having a hard time working on other things because I want to finish the sweater, which is fine because the faster I finish it, the faster I can focus on other things. But yes, so that's where we are right now. Other whips. I am working on, some of you may watch Talks Knits, Joyanne Talks Knits here on YouTube. And she has got me knitting the sweater number 27, and it's beautiful so far. Like I said, I've had a hard time working on it because, like, I'm obsessed with number 9 light, but I'm gonna get there as soon as that's finished. It's on and popping. Like, it's beautiful. I have to pay attention more than I'm used to. I like to knit while I'm watching TV and I'm just, kind of just on autopilot. This pattern does not allow for autopilot. Like, you do have to pay attention, you do have to count rows. So I have tried to make sure that when I stop, I am stopping at the end of a pattern repeat so that I don't have to figure out where I am in the pattern later, because who has time for that? This particular pattern is top down. It is knit on, I think this is size, these are 8mm needles, in worsted weights. I am using Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino in Coal, which is their blackest black. And I was just like, I need an oversized black sweater. And if you know me, you know that I don't often knit with much ease. I find that with the way my body is proportioned, that ease is not always my friend. But I'm trying to work on figuring out how to make ease work for me because I love an oversized sweater. Like, I just do. I do. I love them. So I'm on a mission. So I am knitting this in the size 49, um, 47, 49, 47. I'm not. I'll put it on the screen. I'm knitting one of those two sizes, but I'm determined. I'm determined to make this work. I love it. It's beautiful. And me and Joyanne are going to have matching sweaters. So she's way further along than I am. Hers is cream and it's beautiful. Um, but I'm going to catch up, Joyanne. I promise. As soon as my sweater number 9 light is finished, between this and one other project, I'm coming. I promise. I promise I'm catching up. I promise. Um, yeah. So we'll see. And my other major whip I am working on is the Dauntless Scarf by Vincent at Vesuvio's Crafts. He has modified his Dauntless shawl pattern into this scarf version, and I absolutely love it. It's so squishy. I have not knit an accessory um, in a long time. Like I started knitting because I wanted clothes. Like I am a garment knitter. Like I think I knit like 2 cowls before I was like, okay, it's time for a sweater, right? And that was after I learned to knit. I started out as a crocheter. Um, my grandma taught me to crochet when I was a kid, and then when I was in grad school, I picked it back up because at my internship there was a therapy group and they crocheted, and I made a lot of really ugly stuff. Oh God, it was so ugly. But then I finally figured out what I was doing, and yarn and the yarny world just kind of became part of my life almost immediately. And when I was a crocheter, I was a process crocheter. I did not care what I was making. I just enjoyed the motion. Um, so I mean, I had an Etsy shop at the time, and I would make snuggies, and I didn't care what I was making as long as my hands were busy. It kept me occupied. Like I was content, right? But then when I became a knitter, when I learned to knit and started getting into it, I very much was a product knitter. I want that thing in that color in that moment, right? So I have a much harder time knitting that other thing in that other color at some other time. Like I struggle with it. It's not um, something I lean into. But where was I going with all of that? I don't remember. Anyway, um, but when Vincent told me that he was modifying his Dauntless shawl into a scarf, I wanted to make it because one, I live in Pennsylvania now. Like it's cold up here. Like what is that about? It's quite rude actually. Um, so I needed more warm weather, I mean cold weather accoutrement. So I wanted a scarf, and I believe he's going to be releasing the pattern soon. So far, we know that the stitch counts and everything, they make sense. It's working. It's on its way. It's going to be done in. It can be done honestly with any weight yarn and any size needle. It's just a matter of following the pattern. But it was written for 2 skeins of. This is Malabrigo Rios in their natural colorway, and it's written for Rios, which is DK worsted, depending on how you knit it up. Um, and so, it's a good stash buster, right? So once it's released, I know he put a pattern bundle together, but I believe he'll be releasing it separately. So keep an eye out for the Dauntless Scarf. Um, Gorgeous, squishy. Um, I'm really excited for this to be done because the snow flurries have begun. The actual snow hasn't come in yet, but the flurries have begun, and I need to be prepared because it's been a long time since I've had to deal with like a real winter. So, okay. And then there's so many whips next to me. Okay. So my next whip is another cozy classic. And this one is almost done. Yay. Um, I decided I needed stripes. Remember how I said I was going through like that mauve phase? So, okay, so this has been on the needles for a very, a very long time. And this was one of those ones that it was a vest in hibernation. And I told myself that I needed to go through and finish my whips. Like it's they were just been languishing for way too long. So I had finished the body, but I needed sleeves. So I had crafted a plan for myself that I would, in my spare time during the day, I would knit my major project, like my sweater number 9 light or my sweater number 27 or my Dauntless Scarf, right? So, like, those would be my major projects during the day. And in the late evening, after my daughter goes to bed, I would start plowing through my ancient whips, right? Stuff that has been in hibernation since forever for no reason. Like, it just needs to get done. Like, what are you doing? You actually want the finished object, right? So, this was one of my first to come out of deep hibernation because all it needed was sleeves, right? So I did that. So this is my next. So I've got one sleeve. This one needs it's one more sleeve and it's stripes. You know how addictive stripes are. They go so fast. Like seriously, what's the problem? Right? And this is being knit with Explorer Knits and Fibers. Why am I so bad at remembering colorway names? This is insane at this point. Uh-oh, baby fussing. Um, I'll put it on the screen because clearly this is not my friend. Um, in this color. And then this is, I believe this is Malabrigo sock in natural. Um, this was deep stash when I got this color. And then I'd seen a striped sweater somewhere, and I was like, I have to do that, and I'm gonna do this pink, and then I've got some natural, like I should just do that, and the sweater was born. So here we are. I am knitting this on the recommended needle size, which is I don't know the millimeters. I only know the US version, and it's US 5. Um, and then, of course, I went up a needle size on small circumference to a 6 for the sleeves. Um, but and the 3 for the ribbing. Um, see how difference in the neckline? This is the 42 also, which is usually the size that I knit. I usually knit like the 41, 42 when I want it to fit because that typically gives me a tiny bit of negative ease across the bust line and a little bit of drape through the waist, which is my preferred silhouette. So, but yeah, you see the difference in the neckline? They are the same sweater. So that's that. All right, and then I have one more whip that I'm going to share with you. And this is my laziest whip. This is kind of a mess. Sorry, inside out. Okay. This is zipper sweater. I have wanted to knit the zipper sweater since forever, right? But I'm in Atlanta and I don't need an Aran weight sweater, right? Like it doesn't get cold enough for Aran weight in Atlanta, like ever really, right? So I'd always be like, well, maybe one day I'll do the math and modify it so I can write it, wear it in a, wear it, knit it in a lighter weight, right? But wait, petite knit heard me all the way in Denmark. Anyway, she heard me in my mind. She heard me complaining about the fact that it was Aaron weight, and she wrote a version in DK. And let me tell you how excited I was when I saw that come out, right? So then that pattern has been out for what, over a year now at this point, right? And what I realized was why I was hesitating was because I was afraid of sewing in that zipper, right? I don't sew. I am not a sewist. It's not a thing I do. I don't sew. Um, so I was afraid. So I just didn't start because if I finish, then I'm gonna have a zipper because how am I gonna get the zipper in? Because I don't sew, right? And then I was like, Tiffany, plenty of people who don't sew have made that sweater. They have figured it out. You will also figure it out. Make the sweater. You want the sweater? You talking about the sweater? Everyone around you is sick of hearing about the zipper sweater lights. So make the sweater. So I am. I cast it on, and this is my in the background. It took me forever to knit all of this ribbing. Do you see this? It's double sided. It took forever, but it's done and it's beautiful. And I cannot wait to have it. And it is going to be so lovely. And I am knitting it out of Biche Bouche. I believe this is nude pink. Yes, Biche Bouche nude pink is my mohair. And then my fingering weight is Treehouse Knits in her spruce sock in the colorway Everlasting. Let me talk about how gorgeous this is. Lovely, lovely, gorgeous. Love it, right? And this nude pink, when I tell you it's barely pink, it's like beige with a pink tint. Can you see that? I hope it's focusing. Let me hide my face. I hope it's focusing, right? But those are the two. And I love it. I love it. I'm still going through that battle where we're talking about cool. But I don't care. This is lovely. It's going to be gorgeous. And I can't wait. You see those little bits of gray? Oh, it's going to be so, I need some charcoal pants and or some black jeans. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. And I have to get it finished before spring so that I can actually wear it when it's cool outside. But I cannot. Like this chef's kiss, right? Yeah, it's cool, but it's still perfection and I don't care. And more than likely, I will make another one of these because I feel like this is going to be a staple in my wardrobe for, come on, sporty mom on the go. Hello. What's sportier than zipper sweater and some cute jeans and sneaks? Come on now. Like, perfection. 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 I love it. So those are all the whips that I'm sharing. I have whips in hibernation, but we're not talking about those because they're not active and it's fine. It's fine. So stash acquisitions, enhancements. I like to buy yarn. Okay. I do. I enjoy buying yarn. It makes me happy. It comes in pretty colors and it's just amazing. And sometimes when I see an update or I'm just playing around online in my spare time at work, I find things that make me happy and I have to have them. So, um, two of the acquisitions are very similar. Don't at me. First, I've got Explorer Knits Surrey in the color, and I believe this is from her Spain collection called Rioja. Do you see this? Do you see this? Look at this. Look at that. It's gorgeous. What am I going to make with it? I have no idea. Do I care? No, because it's beautiful. It's beauteous. That is usually the word I use to describe beautiful, perfect yarn. Beauteous. And that's what this is. Okay? Do you see that? Do you see? Look at this. That's going to be a lovely sweater. Lovely, lovely, lovely sweater. I can't wait. I haven't figured out what the plan is for it yet, but I love it. This is Explorer Knits Denali Sock in Olive Grove. Do you see this? Do you see this absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous shade of olive green? When she posted it and I saw it, I was like, I have to have it. I don't know what it will be, but it doesn't matter. I will figure it out because it's perfection, right? It's fingering weight. I will probably not hold this with anything. Whatever I make with this will be a fingering weight sweater. I don't know which one. I don't know that the correct pattern exists just yet. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I haven't looked yet. But gorgeous, lovely, perfect. Okay, remember when I said don't at me? Because some of the yarns are similar. This is from Treehouse, also a Treehouse Knits, and it is the Dove DK and the colorway Through the Pines. Okay, so equally perfect in a similar but different shade of olive green. Do you see this? Do you see? Do you see how lovely it is? It's gorgeous. Um, I realize that I tend to default to buying fingering weight, um, just because, generally speaking, I can get a sweater quantity for less money. That's the short version. That's why I do it. Um, but also, I was also living in a warmer climate, so a fingering weight sweater was perfect. It would take me from fall through the winter and into the spring. Like it was all I needed. But there were times where I wanted something a little bit heavier, so I told myself that I needed to start investing in sweater quantities of DK. Sometimes worsted, but definitely DK. Just because honestly, I don't think I had. I might have like 3 sweater quantities of DK. Um, Maybe that still seems excessive. I don't know. I am who I am. Um, but I got a sweater quantity of this. It's too many for me to hold. But um, I'm not sure if I've decided on the pattern I want. I'm stuck between two, still debating. Um, we'll see. That'll be a discussion for a later day if I could decide what I think I want to do with it. I'm not sure. And my other acquisitions I've actually already showed you, um, because I had to buy extra yarn for my sweater number 9 light, and the yarn I'm using for my sweater number 27 I gotten, because again, I don't keep worsted weight quantities of yarn in my stash, not really. Um, Sweater quantities anyway. Um, and I specifically did not want my sweater number 29 to have mohair. Like I wanted to make a non-mohair sweater. Though I'm not sure if I'm gonna regret that because the sweater literally has holes in it. Like holes. It's got holes in it. So we'll see. Um, but yeah, so that's me. Hi. My name is Tiffany, if you've forgotten. Um, and I hope you'll come back and hang out with me. Um, in the comment section, maybe let me know what you were working on while you watched me ramble. Um, like, hopefully, please, hopefully you enjoyed it. It would really help out, and maybe someone else will see my channel and decide to hang out with us. Also, this is going to be my knits cabinet. Remember when I said I'm a recent transplant? I've been trying to figure out how to display my knits for myself, and I finally found myself a cabinet. Do you guys want a video of like me going through my knits, deciding what to keep, and putting things in my cabinet? Is that a thing you'd like to see? I'd, I'd like to show you, maybe. That's not weird. Okay. Let me know in the comment section. Please subscribe, and I hopeful. Mm, I am hopeful that I will see you back again, maybe in a couple weeks. That sounds about right. Maybe another one before Christmas. I didn't start soon enough to do Vlogmas. I'm new to this. I'm not yet true to this, but I do hope to get there. Maybe Vlogmas next year. We'll be well entrenched in things by then. Um, but yeah, so thank you for hanging out with me. I hope to see you next time. Bye.